and I'll do. Hello, everybody. I'm Adam Lewis, and I'm an advisor to Digital Earth Africa. And my pleasure today is to introduce the first two speakers, which I'll now proceed to doing. I'll share a screen so that you can all see what we're looking at and move on from there in a moment. Our welcoming speaker is Dr. Oliver Chinganya, who is the Director of African Statistics Center and Vice President of the International Institute of Statistics. Oliver has a wide range of experience and knowledge of statistical practice across Africa at both national and international levels, and is a strong believer in the effectiveness of partnerships, coordination at country, regional, and international levels for effective and sustained development programs. He has broad competencies across resource management, statistical policy development, surveys, and much more. He holds a Masters of Science in Statistics from the University of Southampton in the United Kingdom and an MBA from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. And Dr. Chinganya is also a member of the Digital Earth Africa board. Welcome, Dr. Chinganya.
Thank you very much, Adam, for that introduction. I will go ahead into the speech that I prepared for this morning. Let me first of all recognize the distinguished participants, guests, and colleagues that joined on this particular platform this morning. I'm very pleased to welcome you all to this side event on the Digital Earth Africa, Earth Observation for Sustainability in Africa. I'm particularly pleased to see so many people coming from various institutions, where we have people from the public sector, the private sector, the academia, and coming really from different regions of the globe, as well as constituencies. We have people that are coming from Africa, outside the continent, all of them gathering at Virtual today to discuss and brainstorm how we can leverage on the potential of Earth observation for sustainable socio-economic development in Africa. ECA, as a secretariat of the UNGGIM Africa, in collaboration with the Digital Earth Africa program, is organizing the session to continue raising awareness on the need of leveraging geospatial information technology for the continental development agenda. This session will serve as a platform to present and showcase the development of Digital Earth Africa as a unique resource of decision-making across Africa, and to explain how Digital Earth Africa is being applied in various areas such as the national statistics, the natural science development, environmental protection and management, food security, vulnerability, monitoring, human resettlement, planning and land reform, including transport, communication, infrastructure planning and management, space, peace and security, promotion, as well as self-development in commerce and government. So in the context of the ECA new paradigm of the transformative development in Africa, we understand that a major imperative in each African country is the commitment to deliver relevant information that could promote and sustain economic growth. It is therefore of great importance to have an access to real-time and precise spatial information, given Africa's size and the complex of biophysical environment to support effective decision-making and inform continent sustainable planning and development. I can say that African governments and other sectors of society have become increasingly aware of the importance of geospatial science and technology as a tool to facilitate spatial data collection, access, and use in the decision-making process, both nationally and regionally. This is why we believe that through Digital Earth Africa, Earth observation technology can powerfully enhance the way we provide services to our community. ECA has a unique position to ensure that both consistent methods and tools are appropriately appraised and made available in support to member countries at national as well as regional level in a coordinated and coherent manner as required by Digital Earth Africa program. The Commission, in this case, the ECA itself, has a continental-wide mandate, convening power and trust aligned to the notion of open data and sharing, as well as our linkages to the regional development initiatives and policies provide the firmness to foster implementation of Digital Earth Africa's activities on the continent. We are witnessing an emergency of a community of robust geospatial experts, and increasingly Earth observation and geospatial technology are becoming the driving force of many of the application and services, from statistics, land administration to natural resources management, to agriculture, security, and other social challenges. We therefore believe that Digital Earth Africa program will help us achieve the constitutions of authority, repository of development, as a one-stop shop, the adoption of data democracy, values which are wide and easy access to geospatial data, as well as the maintenance of the currency, accuracy, and consistency of development that data we need for decision-making. We see Digital Earth Africa as, steadfastly growing or becoming, connecting the dots, so to speak, as part of our continental efforts to harness information resources for an African information society and knowledge-led economy. The CROP program has started paving a new way to build a robust data infrastructure that can help us have a better understanding of our changing landscape and provide insights that can enable African governments, NGOs, businesses, and individuals to make more informed decisions. Now, what is the way forward? I think that all of us here today, from experts, managers, to international partners, to governments, the private sector that are part of here, are really catalysts in investing in the endeavor to generate and promote innovative policies and making geospatial technology and Earth observation work in Africa. We also think that the presentations today should be able to demonstrate that no matter what data policy and management regime exists, the need for information, or more precisely, spatial-enabled knowledge, is constant in African development agenda. I want to assure you that as part of this commitment for creating and managing knowledge for the continent, ECA will continue to use this convening power to foster the dialogue with member states, African sciences and research institutions, existing networks and programs, as well as other sectors, to increase awareness in space science and technology, insights for economic growth and social development. The Commission remains engaged to promote and support the Digital Earth Africa's vision, goals, and anticipated activities to the benefit of Africa. However, working seamlessly together is key to the successful implementation of the program. I would like to call on for the collaboration and the participation of all concerned stakeholders to join hands in building the technical capacity from the methods and experts of Digital Earth Africa, so that we can fast track the uptake of Earth observation data products as they are applied to decision-making and action nationally as well as locally. As I conclude, I want to thank all of you for your commitment in developing an effective geospatial information services in Africa. Please feel free to ask as many questions as you like, so that you can be enlightened of this partnership that is there, and also to have a good understanding of the issues and the challenges that are facing Africa and the responses that Digital Earth Africa is providing. I would like to wish all of us here a very, very fruitful discussion. And I really want to say that we appreciate your presence today. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Oliver, for that very warm welcome from the Economic Commission. Our next speaker will be Dr. Lisa Hall. Dr. Hall joined the Digital Earth Africa establishment team as Chief Operating Officer in 2019 and is now Managing Director. Dr. Hall has played a critical role ensuring the successful establishment of Digital Earth Africa as a world-leading capability and the smooth transition to African leadership. Prior to Digital Earth Africa, Lisa worked in a diverse range of program management and scientific roles in Geoscience Australia. She has extensive industry experience in both the resources and insurance sectors, including building probabilistic natural disaster risk models and helping international clients to de-risk investments. Lisa has a PhD in geology from Oxford University and a Masters of Science in Geology and Geophysics from Cambridge. She currently resides in Canberra, Australia. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you very much, Adam. And welcome, everybody. Thank you all so much for your attendance today. We really appreciate your interest and engagement with the Digital Earth Africa programme. As Adam already mentioned, my name is Dr. Lisa Hall. I'm the outgoing Managing Director for the Digital Earth Africa establishment team. I'd like to first of all thank Oliver for his support here. Oliver is a member of the Digital Earth Africa Governing Board, and his engagement over the last few years as we established the programme and support in the last few board meetings has been instrumental in shaping the strategy of the programme as we head forward. And I also really would like to thank ECA more broadly for their support and for providing us the opportunity to participate in this important event. So Digital Earth Africa's vision is to provide a routine, reliable and operational service using Earth observation to deliver decision-ready products that enable everybody from policymakers, scientists, private sector and civil society to address a whole range of issues across the continent, from social, environmental through to economic changes, and really help develop an ecosystem for innovation across all sectors. And Oliver's wonderful introduction really does highlight the alignment of Digital Earth Africa's mission and vision, what we want to achieve as a programme, with the ECA mandate to support data democratisation for decision making. So really looking forward to further strengthening our collaboration with ECA and many of our other partners across the continent. Now, our session today will showcase Digital Earth Africa as a unique information resource for sustainable development across Africa. And what we wish to do is better explain to you on how Digital Earth Africa is being applied in areas such as national statistics, agriculture, and water resources. The key goal for the establishment of the Digital Earth Africa programme is that Digital Earth Africa is Africa-owned and led. And the timing of this side event is pretty appropriate, as it's actually coinciding with a key milestone for us, and that is the transition of leadership from the establishment team here in Australia to our new leadership cohort across the continent. And we've actually had a series of fantastic workshops here in Canberra with the new leadership team over the last week. And as a result, I'm very excited to say that we are on track to hand over that baton of programme delegation to our new incoming managing director, who will be announced soon, and her team from the 1st of July, with continued support from myself and Adam and the team here, but as advisory, in an advisory role. So the next slide just gives you a quick overview of what we have in store today. I just want to thank all of our speakers for participating and give a quick introduction. So to start, I'm Diswa Melissa, Acting CEO for the South African National Space Agency and Digital Earth Africa Technical Advisory Committee Co-Chair. We'll start with a discussion on the potential value of Earth observation for Africa. And Dr. Kenneth Mcbear, the Digital Earth Africa Capacity Development Lead, will talk more about how we're achieving sustainability through partnerships and community, in particular how Earth observation data is empowering community-led action. We'll then move to Omar Seydu, who's the head of demographic statistics and coordinator of data for SDGs in Ghana, and our other amazing Digital Earth Africa Technical Advisory Committee co-chair. Omar is going to focus around empowering government to realise the potential of Earth observations, showcasing how Ghana's Statistical Service in particular are leveraging Digital Earth Africa to improve official statistics. And in our final presentation, Jiko Modimu, who is our incoming Head of Operations for Digital Earth Africa, will talk about our vision for sustaining the programme into the future, so together we can fully realise the potential of EO data for Africa. And we will close with a question and answer session moderated by Andre Nongwema, who's Chief Geospatial Management Information System for ECA. So thanks in advance to all of our speakers, not only for your participation in this event, but also the amazing contribution you've all made to establishing this really exciting programme to date. So before we pass on to the next speaker, we would like to share with you a short video that captures the inspiration underpinning the Digital Earth Africa program, our mission and our vision. We will run it twice in English and French. So I'll hand back to Adam to see if you're able to run the video.
The story of Africa lies in our land, our water, our forests, our cities, and our people. To keep building towards a sustainable future, we must observe patterns, gather insights, find the power in data, and embrace satellite technology.
When we talk about Earth observation, it's not just the power of where that we now talk about, it's the power of what, where, when.
Digital Earth Africa makes continental-scale Earth observation data-free, open, and ready to use. Equipped with this information, governments, industry leaders, and researchers can work together to address some of Africa's greatest challenges, from food security, water management, and the stewardship of our natural resources to habitat conservation, growing our cities, and reducing the impact of climate change. Together, we will write tomorrow's story, unlocking the promise of tomorrow from patterns of the past.
L'histoire de l'Afrique réside dans notre terre, notre eau, nos forêts, nos villes et nos populations. Pour continuer à construire un avenir durable, il faut observer les tendances, collecter les connaissances, exploiter le potentiel des données et adopter la technologie satellitaire.
When we talk about Earth observation, it's not just the power of where that we now talk about, it's the power of what, where, when.
Digital Earth Africa produit des données d'observation de la Terre à l'échelle continentale qui sont gratuites, accessibles et prêtes à l'utilisation. Grâce à ces informations, les gouvernements, les chefs d'entreprise et les chercheurs peuvent travailler ensemble pour relever certains des plus grands défis de l'Afrique. De la sécurité alimentaire, la gestion de l'eau et la gestion de nos ressources naturelles, à la préservation de l'habitat, l'évolution de nos villes et la réduction de l'impact du changement climatique. Ensemble, nous écrirons l'histoire de demain. Libérer le potentiel du futur en s'inspirant des tendances du passé.
Thanks for playing those, Adam, much appreciated. And so I would like to introduce our next speaker and to welcome, great pleasure, Andiswa Melissa, who's the interim CEO for the South African National Space Agency and also the co-chair of the Digital Earth Africa Technical Advisory Committee. And I have to say personally, Andiswa has brought such a wide range of knowledge and experience to the TAC and has really helped me and helped the rest of the team steer the program and get it to the place where it is today. In particular, just the championing the importance of what the program could bring to Africa has been so instrumental in our success to date. And prior to working with SANSA, Andiswa was a member of the Group of Earth Observations Secretariat. In this role, she was responsible for coordinating AfriGeo and for a range of capacity building activities. She's now co-chair of the GEO Program Board and a member of a number of GEO subgroups and other national and international committees aimed at advancing the use of Earth observations. As a graduate of the Universities of Fort Hare and Stellenbosch in GIS and remote sensing, Andiswa spent her early years of her career developing geospatial solutions for water resource management and disaster risk reduction. I'd like to hand over to Andiswa.
Thank you very much, Lisa, and for those kind introduction. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are joining us today. For South Africa, where I am, it's still good morning. Mr. Oliver, in his welcoming remarks, indicated the value of Earth observations and geospatial data with regards areas such as spatial planning, agriculture and food security, climate change, just to mention the few. In particular, the role that we play and the value that the Earth observations provide is for the understanding of our changing environment and as well as to support decision-making. When it comes to decision-making, it's plays in all the three spheres around policy, whether we're talking about policy formulation, policy implementation, as well as monitoring and evaluation of the policies that our governments have put in place. All, of course, this is done towards ensuring that we support the national development agendas as well as the regional and global development agendas. As space agencies, we constantly are asked by our governments of why should we prioritize national space programs by investing in satellite missions. To answer this question, we have gone towards putting in place assessments of the value of Earth observation to look at the socioeconomic value of the Digital Earth Africa as an example, as a platform. In 2019, the World Economic Forum released a report estimating the economic potential of satellite data for Africa. The report, which at the beginning focused on 3 areas, found that improvements in decision-making and action in agriculture and natural resources, along with accelerated industry growth, could deliver up to $2.3 billion. A follow-up study in 2011 looked at other areas, finding the benefit on those could be an additional $500 million of US dollars. So when we put forward to our governments why investing in satellite missions and in national space programs, it is beginning to make sense for us to provide a socioeconomic analysis that takes the value, because when disasters strike, as you will see the images behind me, in South Africa, we recently experienced the KwaZulu-Natal floods, where not only livelihoods were lost, but also lives were lost. And if you look at the value around disaster risk reduction, $74 million US could be saved by using Earth observations data within the 3 levels of space formulation. However, although satellite data provided freely by international communities targeting global sustainability, there are many practical barriers to realizing this potential, from skills and capabilities through to technical challenges of working with vast amounts of data. What Digital Earth Africa provides is a mechanism for us to counter these challenges that we've been facing as a geospatial community for years. It is one thing to say data is available for free. It is something else to actually say that you actually have access to that data. So there's an element of availability, which we've always translated it as a cost. But when we're talking to the element of access, access has to go beyond just availability. Access starts to talk to, do we have the capacity to actually use the data? Do we have the capacity to draw insights from the data? And do we have the infrastructure that we need to get that data timely, as well as to process it timely, and most importantly, to deliver the insights in a timely manner to those who need it, in particular our decision makers within the continent. We draw in global collections of satellite data when we look at the Digital Earth Africa platform to ensure that they are ready to use and make the data available using world-leading open data cubes. We've seen the open source softwares and platforms coming in, and the value that they could actually add to our communities, especially around making sure that the digital divide is closed. So if we look at the implementing partners that include Tunisia, OSS in Tunisia, Senegal, we've got the partners there as well as you Agrimet and Afrigist in Niger, and in Nigeria, as well as the Regional Center for Mapping and Development in Kenya. These implementing partners are then able to work with these data set and tools to target matters of importance and to train an ever-increasing number of users. I think the most important aspect when we look at Digital Earth Africa is to say we have the data that comes from the space agencies in a format that is already prepared and processed and ready for use. So we call it the analysis ready data. But on top of that, we also put products and services that are easy for those who are not coming and traditionally are trained as remote sensors to make decisions around this. If you look at the screen, you would actually start to see some of the examples of the products and services that we derive from this data. Whether you're looking at the coastlines of Tanzania, where we know that livelihoods are dependent on fisheries, or you're looking at monitoring crops in Egypt, where we've got water scarce regions, but we need to make sure that food security is something that is provided. Or in Mountain Nyiragongo, where we're looking at the impact of volcanoes. And we've seen islands in this late last year and early this year disappear because of volcano eruptions. So the monitoring of these natural environment and natural space that we have becomes very, very critical for us, all the way to measuring water extent on rangelands in Etosha National Park. And here we're talking not only for the livelihoods of us as people, but the livelihoods of the environment as a whole that we have. In the next slides, you will hear more from Dr. Kenneth Mcbear in terms of what the training platforms look like and what are these, what our implementing partners are doing further to make sure that as member states at a local level, because even though the program is continental, the service and the value of the program is directed at a local level. Dr. Kenneth Mcbear is going to come up next to talk to you about this. I think what's important for me to also highlight at this point is, as South Africa, we are very privileged, in particular as the South African National Space Agency, we are very privileged to be providing support and to have been part of the journey of Digital Earth Africa from inception to where we're at right now. And in this point, as Dr. Lisa Hall had said, I would love to actually extend a huge appreciation to Geosciences Australia for having ensured that they fostered this program and nest this program to where we are at, right now, where we are in the transitioning of the program to the African continent. And as already been mentioned, the managing director for Digital Earth Africa in Africa will be starting in July. We're looking forward to completing the Digital Earth Africa team with placements that you will find are all over the continent. So it will not only just be staff that are sitting in South Africa, but the staff will be sitting throughout the continent. But maybe also a special thank you to the Digital Earth Africa partners, such as the Economic Commission for Africa, which Dr. Oliver has been providing with his team support to us right from the beginning, and other implementing partners that you're going to get to know as our presentations are going forward. Digital Earth Africa has provided us an ability as a national institution, but also as regional centers, to actually show our decision makers that the technology that is called space has a value that reaches more than just us technology people saying we've got cool kits that we can use. But when we're starting to put an economic value to it, $2.3 billion is a huge amount of money if you think about it. With the level of investment that we're needing to make in space, what we then derive at the end of the day is way higher than that. So with that, I would love to pass this over to Dr. Kenneth Mcbear to share the capacity development and other activities that the implementing partners are doing. Thank you very much, Lisa.
Thank you, Andiswa. And we will now pass to Dr. Kenneth Mcbear. Kenneth Mcbear, I'm sure many of you know, but he's our capacity development lead for the Digital Earth Africa program. Ken's been working with us for many years now, providing fabulous technical support, capacity development, and user engagement services and has really been instrumental in driving uptake and usage of Digital Earth Africa services across the continent. And really excited that Ken's going to be continuing in the leadership role with the program going forward. So really excited to continue working with you in this new leadership capacity. Now, prior to working with Digital Earth Africa, Kenneth worked as GIS Technical Manager with GPSTD and the UN Foundation in driving usage of the African Regional Data Cube. And he was also Capacity Development Lead with SOVIA, so NASA USAID, a lecturer at Dedan Kimathi University of Technology in Kenya, a support engineer with Esri Eastern Australia, and geographic consultant with Google in Kenya. And Ken holds a PhD in remote sensing from the University of Bonn in Germany. And Ken sees that a time has come that Earth observation will be a critical means for decision making for countries and regional bodies in Africa, leaving no one behind. I'd like to pass to Dr. Kenneth Mcbear.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lisa. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Digital Earth Africa continues to be committed through sustainability, partnerships, and community. We've been working to empower communities across the continent to access the satellite information for decision making. We've also worked with partners in Africa to develop training materials which is fit for purpose for our own people. And also these communities have been able to share some of their stories in this short time that we had, including some work of conservation of mangroves in Zanzibar, working with the young people at the State University of Zanzibar, and recently working with a conservation agency in Kenya to relocate some giraffes due to floods in Lake Baringo. Our work is entirely to reach everybody in the continent, and thank you that everybody is here so that we leave no one behind. So the next slide. So in the next slide, I wish to share a small video which summarizes some of the work we've done with Zanzibar. It actually captures the work that we've done with the State University of Zanzibar, who were connected through the Office of Chief Government Statistician in Zanzibar, and also our partners, Amazon Web Services, who provided the support in documenting this wonderful video, which brought at least 1.3 million viewers in the first month that it premiered. So it means that we are bringing the community to you, and with everybody in this meeting, we'll be able to document much more information. And I wish Adam to click the magic button.
Kisiwa hichi nilikuwa nakijua nilipokuwa mdogo, na hali ya samaki walikuwa wengi, lakini sasa hivi mafuriko yanatishia amani.
The pressure of the salt water is coming in the villages. Without mangrove, after maybe 20-25 years, Zanzibar will disappear. No Zanzibar.
Natumaini mambo yatabadilika.
I'm Zanzibarian, and I'm living in these small islands in Zanzibar. And I personally experience the impacts of the climate change to my localities. The damage of the houses, damage of the infrastructure, displacement of the people from one place to another, brackish drinking water. Because of the impact of the climate change, that is saltwater intrusion, this is happening now. When we have mangroves along the coastal area, they are used to protect the earth from coastal erosion.
Mangrove is necessary for fish because the small fish live in the upper root of mangroves.
Mangroves play an essential role to the society by absorbing large amount of the carbon dioxide. Mangroves has ability to absorb about 3 to 4 times the carbon dioxide over the other forests. Climate change impacts the survival of this mangrove. Anthropogenic influences severely impact the mangroves and the ecosystem. They are cutting down these mangroves because of their man-made activities. They preferred firewood material from those mangroves. They were not aware of the advantages of mangrove, and also they were not aware on the impact of the climate change. What are the proper measures to be taken so as to combat these impacts?
Youth mappers are student-led chapters around the world, and they help in creating and utilizing open data. With open data, they help in portraying what is happening in the community and what people are facing across the world. So what they do is they create maps and they create mappers. They make sure that they extract the data from the community, because the community, they have more knowledge on their environments.
I will use this to take the area that is affected with climate change, like coastal area, and to visualize to my society to see this is real effect.
But in addition to that, they also give them education on climate change. The students build their capacities and they learn new tools, new technologies that are available. And from there, they help in creating open data, and open data is used by the government and by other different stakeholders to make informed decisions.
Digital Earth Africa is a platform that offers ready-made satellite data. As a geoinformer, I have skills of Earth observation data on how to use geospatial tools to solve the problem that the Earth is facing today. Through these technologies such as Earth observation data, we can have information that show the Earth now and before.
We can use spatial data in mangroves to see if the mangrove have been destroyed in past few years, or the mangrove have been grown, or any change that has been taking place in a certain area. Because we can combine that data in a real map, and then we can use it to get different ideas and decisions.
They can understand from those images as this is the place where people go and cut the trees.
Through Digital Earth Africa, people are sharing their knowledge. The guys who made that platform, Dr. Ken, he's willing to help everyone to understand what they are doing there, to share, to do.
The big data that is availed through the various platforms like Digital Earth Africa running on the AWS, these are the game changers. The information on the Digital Earth Africa platform helps State University of Zanzibar lecturers and youth mappers to actually be able to get more information about the trends which is available from the analysis-ready data. Looking at some of the products we've developed with Kairia and students, the one for mangrove changes. So they actually see a rise in mangroves in this area, or maybe there was a loss of mangroves in certain areas. So they can actually see the areas that they need to prioritize, and also help us to invalidate in what they get from the platform for us to improve our processing. As the image in the Digital Earth Africa spans over 30 years plus, they've been able to get time series analysis of the mangroves and see some of the areas, how the trends have been. Initially, they started with the Landsat data at 30 meters, and now they're using Sentinel-2 at 10 meters. They're able to get much information. At Digital Earth Africa, we are dealing with petabytes of information. It has to be on a web service where we can actually update it as much as possible. We are looking also going beyond 5 petabytes for the continent.
Land cover changes. We can observe climate variability to model maybe the floods, to model the coastal erosion, so as if you want maybe to add some features to that model, you can do that in Digital Earth Africa.
We are working with Raya, who's been able to mentor the students. Kairia has been able to showcase the value for mangroves assessment using the Digital Earth Africa platform. The value also of citizen-generated science and the champions is coming out very strongly.
I have already gained the knowledge about climate change, and I will use that knowledge to instruct others, to teach others, to engage with the groups that perform the activities to reduce the climate change. And as you know, everywhere now the climate change is the issues. So I hope that this will be reduced, but the technology is required for it.
The champions are actually the driving force of some of the needs and priorities of our products. So once we engage with the champions, they'll tell us what they want to see. They want more data, high resolution. We listen to them. This gives us a motivation to see what other products and data we could actually add from our side to deliver the service to everyone in the continent.
And I hope through these technologies, they can help us to provide awareness to the communities on what is the role of the mangroves to the society. So now they are realizing that, oh, we are not supposed to cut this tree, and instead we have to plant this tree as much as possible.
Some of the Youth Mapper students are also volunteering at Zaveco, and one of the projects that they do is to plant more mangroves, so they preserve the areas with their mangroves, and they try to make sure that they plant more and more.
Just cutting maybe one, planting 25, or cutting two, just planting 1,000. We have more than 200 people now planting every Saturday, and we have planned that when we arrive here, 1,000 seats, our nursery, in one day.
At State University of Zanzibar, they are training their students, so the students will be the champions, and one day in the future, this student might be the president of Tanzania or somewhere, so they'll be able to use this to make very good informed decisions. In Africa, which says that alone you can move faster, however, as a village, we can actually move further.
We join hands and we join our forces in making sure we combat these climate change issues.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. This was just a snapshot of how we work with these communities in Zanzibar, working from the lecturers to the students and the future leaders. And in the last small documentary, we worked with the Conservancy Agency in Kenya, and also working with our partners from the Global Partnership for Sustainable Development, who are looking at data for SDGs. We were able to see how we could relocate some giraffes from Lake Baringo in an island because of rising levels of water. Please let us show you this small documentary. Thank you so much for your patience.
Conservationists in Kenya have rescued 9 endangered giraffes from an island threatened by rising floodwaters. The Baringo giraffe, also known as the Rothschild giraffe, is close to extinction. Scientists have been using a database of satellite images going back several decades to plan the translocation of the giraffes to a new sanctuary. Emmanuel Igunza reports.
It's an audacious rescue mission. On Karikoni, the Baringo giraffe is being carefully ferried to her new home in a custom-made barge. She's one of just 3,000 Baringo giraffes that remain in the wild. The local community decided to act when a herd became trapped on a disappearing island. Decades of rising waters in Lake Baringo meant the island was getting smaller every year.
The food availability on the island is highly fluctuating and insufficient, and so it is justifying and supporting the need for the translocation of the giraffe to the mainland. Hii ni habari tumepata kutoka wapi? Satellite.
The team has been using satellite images to plan the move. The Digital Earth Africa platform contains data that until recently was only available to a handful of people. Now the team can see changes in water levels and vegetation cover in the region going back several decades. It's a new tool for conservationists responding to Africa's increasingly unpredictable weather.
These erratic patterns means that we have to deploy near real-time data and information to support concerted efforts both by citizens and governments to ensure that they plan effectively and try to mitigate the devastating impacts of these climatic changes.
On the mainland, Nkarikoni's barge must be carefully brought to the shore. The rest of the herd have already made this perilous journey and are waiting for her in a new giraffe sanctuary. The long-term aim is to introduce more giraffes from other parts of the country and build up Kenya's population of Baringo giraffes. Emmanuel Igunza, BBC News, Kenya.
Conservationists in Kenya have rescued 9 endangered.
So thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Lisa.
Thank you very much. It's now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Omar Saidu, who is the head of demographic statistics and coordinator of data for SDGs in Ghana. And Omar is also co-chair of the Digital Earth Africa Technical Advisory Committee and is another fantastic champion for the program. It's been an absolute pleasure working with Omar for the last few years. And Omar's advice and guidance has also really helped steer the program and been instrumental to the success we see today. Omar is a social statistician with over 18 years of experience in statistics production. He's a fellow of the Sampling Program for Survey Statisticians, a member of the United Nations Interagency and Expert Group on the Sustainable Development Goals. Omar is not only passionate about strengthening the data ecosystem, but also about the uptake of evidence-based in decision-making. Omar also serves on a number of other national and international platforms and data for development. So thank you, Omar. I will hand over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Lisa. And this provides me the opportunity to add on to what my colleagues have already said, especially indicating the fact that the Digital Earth African platform provides data that can be used not only at the national level, but also at the sub-national level. And this, for me, is instructive, given the fact that all our countries have signed on to the Sustainable Development Goals, which I say is nothing more than what we have already been doing, because there's no government on this continent or elsewhere that was not already working to provide water to its people, to provide education to its people, to ensure healthcare, to ensure economic development, to ensure there's decent employment. So to that extent, the SDGs is only a framework that provides us an opportunity to globally implement these and report progress towards these. But our ability to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals depend largely on how we achieve them in the sub-areas within our countries, not only providing aggregated information, but providing information that is disaggregated. And that is where national statistical offices become crucial, because we have the mandate around providing data to guide policy planning, to provide policy implementation, and to provide for monitoring such policies. So to that extent, I would want us to listen to what we have done in Ghana. So Adam, if you could go ahead with the video.
Africa is one of the fastest growing continents in the world. With a unique environment and a diverse population, responding to the challenges of climate change and sustainable development are crucial to our future. Access to reliable data and information is critical to informing decision makers and shaping policies that will improve the lives and livelihoods of people in Africa. Digital Earth Africa provides accurate and timely Earth observation data and services that enable deeper insight into how land, coasts, and populations are changing across Africa. This free and open information service has immense potential to improve official statistics on a wide range of topics spanning agriculture, the environment, and patterns of urban change. Statistics agencies are able to integrate emerging sources of big data like Digital Earth Africa into their research and practices. This strengthens their ability to provide trusted, expert advice and insights to government and decision makers. The Ghana Statistical Service is at the forefront of this data revolution and is now integrating the non-traditional data and services provided by Digital Earth Africa to supplement their existing data sources and strengthen their analysis. Their work showcases how Earth observation data can be leveraged to generate more timely statistical outputs and provide richer data for informed decision-making, all at minimal additional cost.
The Ghana Statistical Service is now using Digital Earth Africa to support decision-making on a range of critical issues, including monitoring patterns of land use, land cover change, from urbanization to unregulated mining. We have incorporated insights from Digital Earth Africa into our most recently published constituency profile report, which we prepared with African Center for Parliamentary Affairs. These reports provide valuable information to both parliamentarians and local government on the size, distribution of the population, built area and the environment, as well as insights on the socioeconomic characteristics of each of the districts. In fact, our work includes analyzing unregulated mining in the Apaprama Forest Reserve, which is one of the several forest reserves in Ghana, working in collaboration with the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, in Ghana. We were able to measure the presence of vegetation over time to understand the impact of degradation due to unregulated mining within the reserve. Indeed, several areas that have suffered unregulated mining, gradually the forest is returning, growing more and more each year as these have been stopped in those areas. In fact, the World Economic Forum has estimated that Earth observation insights could lead to a potential economic benefit of up to $900 million from the detection and prevention of unregulated gold mining. Digital Earth Africa's free and open data and services can also strengthen the commercial sector, and this has recently been demonstrated by organizations like the Big Data Ghana that demonstrate that Earth observation data can be used to produce commercially viable solutions and inform better decisions in agriculture. Drawing on Digital Earth Africa's non-traditional data sets, Big Data Ghana has created a new games platform which combines data generated to generate reliable and accurate information for Ghana's agriculture sector to help estimate food production, analyze land for crop suitability, trace crops to specific geographical locations in the country, and calculate accurate transport costs to major market centers in the country. Developing the institutional capacity for both government and the private sector is key to effectively harnessing these new innovative approaches. And this is what Digital Earth Africa offers. Now, Digital Earth Africa provides a range of decision-ready analysis tools that enable users to reuse and adapt algorithms to rapidly analyze large volumes of data, which otherwise we would not be able to analyze. And it offers a clear pathway for analysts and more senior decision makers to easily use these tools for specific needs, including free access to a multilingual training platform and a growing virtual community of users. Digital Earth Africa provides not just the data, but a range of support services for all its users. But the learning platform is a hub for users from different backgrounds and entry levels, to learn how to use the platform and the tools to explore their local areas, their country, or other parts of the continent that they are interested in. They can learn new skills in using Earth observation, in coding, and understand the tools available to make data analysis easier. In fact, Data Earth Africa aims to support users of the platform across the continent and the world at large on how these resources can help us leapfrog the processes of development.
Digital Earth Africa is made possible by utilizing world-leading data and innovation along with years of experience in Earth observation. It is supported by a network of international partners. Where to next? Digital Earth Africa data and services are continually growing and evolving. Through collaboration and partnerships, Digital Earth Africa hopes to improve the accuracy of data by calibrating satellite data with ground-based measurements. There are also plans to include climate data to help understand the long-term trends and the effect of changes to climate on the land. Working with the African government and innovative organizations such as the Ghana Statistical Service and Big Data Ghana, we can demonstrate the power of data-driven decision-making and unlock the promise of tomorrow from the patterns of the past.
Thank you very much, Adam. This is very important in shaping the fact that making these data available to policymakers give a great opportunity to reflect on our policies and programs. Indeed, in May 2021, when we made a presentation to the Parliament of Ghana on this, the Speaker of Parliament was on point by indicating that he would want us to use this platform to provide a lot of insight to every single member of Parliament for them to better understand the constituents that they are representing. And so the majority leader of Parliament also indicating that there was a need for some of the revelations we had gotten out of this platform to be made available to Cabinet, because in Ghana, we already knew that illegal mining was destroying our forests, was destroying water bodies, but we could not immediately quantify how much of the forest we're losing. So we use the Digital Earth African platform to do that. And so it is important for all of us, and especially national statistical offices, who only provide urbanization data every 10 years when we do our censuses. Digital Earth Africa can give us the opportunity to provide urbanization data annually for every subcontinent, sorry, every district in the country. Thank you very much. Over to you, Lisa.
Africa
Thank you very much,
is one of the first.
Omar. Thank you very much, Omar. Much appreciated. Now I'd like to introduce our next speaker. I'm very pleased to introduce Jiko Modimu, who is our incoming Head of Operations in the new Digital Earth Africa Program Management Office. Jiko is actually here in Canberra at the moment, and it's been absolutely fantastic working with you so far. So Jiko has extensive experience in the not-for-profit sector, including as operations executive in the Mpele Foundation, as well as managing director of Operation Hope for South Africa. Jiko started FinHealth Africa, a financial inclusion consulting agency that has served the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, the South African Post Office, as well as leading financial services companies in South Africa. And Jiko started his career in the financial services sector and served with companies such as Barclays Africa, Deutsche Bank, Johnson Controls and Wells Fargo, working in the United Kingdom, United States, Singapore, Slovakia and South Africa. He also volunteers as a member of the board for the Malamuleli Onward, an organisation offering innovative solutions to improve the quality of life of children with cerebral palsy and their families. I'd like to now welcome Jiko.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate the introduction, kind introduction, and it's my absolute honor to actually to have joined the team recently of Digital Earth Africa as the head of operations. And first, I'd like to share the vision of this organization, which I think is an absolutely amazing organization in terms of the direction we're taking Africa as a continent. The platform actually provides public infrastructure and that is accessible for analysis to unlock the value of Earth observations to government, to private sector, to researchers, to nonprofits, all in aid of development. It's an absolutely amazing vision that we have for the future. And I'd like to share a little bit more with you now in the next slide. So the way that we are activating the entire continent is we have hubs or implementing partners that we are going to be working with. As you heard, each hub is in strategic places across the continent. We have North Africa with Tunisia, we have Senegal, Niger, Nigeria, Kenya, as well as South Africa. And South Africa is where we've benefited from. The South African National Space Agency has its office in South Africa, but they've very strategically created a team that is actually placed across the continent. So we have team members such as Dr. Mcbear, who's in Kenya. We have people in Rwanda. We have people in Ghana as well. So this is a continent-wide initiative. And if I can borrow the words of Dr. Mcbear quickly, he shared this recently, and he said, "We're now able to deploy technology to all the countries on the continent so that no one is left behind." And that is exactly how Digital Earth Africa is looking to build this platform. This is our platform going forward. And every single country, and I saw a question that actually just came in shortly that we'll also be able to answer, every country is going to be able to engage with our implementing partners, capacitate people in the countries so that they know how to use and make the most of the data that we have. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Already, Digital Earth Africa we're already seeing amazing growth. As of the beginning of this year or currently, we already have over 1,500 people who are already on the platform and using it. This shows the vision that we have, that it is achievable. And it also speaks to the work of the establishment team in particular, that even though through the times, as you can see, even with the dates that are on that graph, it was during the time of COVID, and yet we're already been able to engage with people on the ground. Dr. Mcbear has already been going to workshops in specific countries with our implementing partners to already start that process of training. Now, with the team that is now going to be starting, with the leadership as well, who are joining at the beginning of July, we look to have exponential growth in the coming years as we go into, and as the COVID pandemic kind of starts to ease, we're going to have greater opportunity to actually start the training on the ground. And so we'll move to the next slide now. The most important thing is, how do we make the Digital Earth Africa platform sustainable for the continent? It's now moved into our hands, and we really need to think about what are our goals, what do we want to achieve, and how do we sustain that? So one of the things, most importantly, is how many people are going to be using it. In the next 3 years, we want 25,000 people to be active on the platform. That means our goal is to train 1,000 people to be able to be trainers in specific countries. As you can see with those numbers, it is only possible that we can do it through our implementing partners. We can't do all the work on the ground, but every single country has a role to play. And all of you on this call also have a role to play that I'm going to share with you in a moment on the next slide. So one of the opportunities in particular that I actually wanted to share was just around the opportunity that we have using the Digital Earth Africa platform in particular to start understanding, demonstrating, and making changes due to whenever there are climate change events. Every African country can now use the platform to answer climate and sustainability questions. So if you're looking at the example that I have right now, this is in Ghana, and it actually illustrates using Digital Africa data, the coastal erosion and urban flooding that is occurring. So with this information, I think one of the biggest challenges with climate change is that it's always after the fact. As Dr. Melissa said earlier on, she actually shared what had happened in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, where there were floods, and after the fact, we're identifying it. But images such as this, we can actually start ahead of time, in real time actually, start looking at what are the coastal erosion effects that we can anticipate, make changes, and governments can actually make decisions based on this information. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. So I'm going to talk very briefly around just kind of the transition of what has happened. So Digital Earth Africa was established through very generous funding through the Australian government and the Helmsley Foundation. That was in 2019. During this time, we've built a technology platform that is very stable, has high capability, and we're seeing the effects already. The governance structure has really been built out with the technical advisory team. And next, a board was put in place. All of these different pieces are on the African continent. African people are now running it. And I think one of the more important pieces as well is we now also have AWS, which is the Amazon Web Services, hosted in Cape Town. So all the data as well is being housed on the African continent. So with all of this work that was done by the establishment team, by that initial funding that went in, myself and the other leaders who are coming into their roles, we are now leading a very African organization and providing African solutions. This means that we're also reaching that scaling phase, and we're starting to think about that. And with the scaling phase, we also need additional resources for the future. And we'll go to the next slide. So looking forward, I ask each and every one of you on the call, from the media, from economic heads and ministers, to join us in investing in the Digital Earth Africa platform, because it is our platform. We want to support you in driving country-level capacity building. We can have training in each of the countries. We want to make sure that it's data that you can use to make decisions in the country, and in terms of agriculture, in terms of climate, in terms of strengthening institutions so that we anticipate what the future is going to bring. And to join us in this journey, want you to stay close to us. After this meeting, I'm also going to share my contact details as well as the contact details of how you can continue to engage and activate your country, which is the most important thing. And of course, as part of that, it's also the financial investment in the platform that is now ours. With that, thank you so much to each and every one of you for your time. I'm looking forward to engaging with you, hearing more from you as well. I'm going to hand back to Dr. Lisa Hall for the question and answer section.
Thank you so much, Jiko. Much appreciated. I actually am now going to hand over to Andre Nongwema, who has very kindly agreed to facilitate the Q&A. Andre is Chief GIMS of the Geospatial Information Management System for the Economic Commission for Africa. Andre is also one of the founding members of the Digital Earth Africa Technical Advisory Committee. So just personally want to thank Andre for all his engagement with the Digital Earth Africa program so far. Andre holds an engineering degree in environment from the Polytechnic Institute of the University of Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso. He also holds an MSc in Applied Remote Sensing and Geographic Information Management from the University of Agronomic Sciences in Gembois, Belgium. He is currently the Chief of the Geospatial Information Management section in ECA, and in this capacity he oversees ECA work on advancing holistic geospatial information management policies, strategy, and provides assistance to member states and regional entities in the development and implementation of spatial data infrastructures, space science, and geospatial information technology. Andre brings more than 25 years of professional experience in the field of space science, Earth observation, and geospatial science and technology. Thank you very much, Andre, for facilitating the question and answer session. Over to you.
Thank you, Lisa, and happy morning, happy evening to all of you who have been able to join this side event. I would like, first of all, to thank all the speakers for their very insightful presentation. I believe wherever we are, we can give them a round of applause for taking us through the value addition Digital Africa is bringing in our search and quest for informed decision making in Africa. We have 15 minutes now to go through an open discussion for question, comment, clarifications, or whatever information we need to get more in depth from the Digital Earth Africa program. So before we go to the Q&A chat box where some questions have been already raised there, let me follow up with all the presenters and the Digital Earth Africa management team and ask this small question, because all the presentation we have received this morning highlighted the fact that Africa is a vulnerable region to various crises and risks through going from climate change impact to land degradation to security challenge. And unfortunately, we have a limited capacity to respond to the scale and the magnitude of the impact of such crises. But that health oscillations and more broadly, especially enabled technology can be one of the tools we can use to respond to those challenges and to support the continent effort for sustainable management of our resources. Therefore, I'm saying that Digital Earth Africa will respond to various complex needs of information, but speakers, what are some of the concrete ways from the experience we have learned so far in implementing Digital Earth Africa? What are some of the concrete ways, avenues in which we can strengthen the role of Earth observation in supporting the policy goals of Africa? We are now running our conference of ministers, and our policymakers want to know how especially enabling information, can support their policy goals for Africa. Let me maybe start with Andiswa. How do you see some of the avenue in which we can enhance, strengthen the role of Earth observation in supporting the policy question in Africa? What worked best from the experience you have gained from Digital Earth Africa so far?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Andre. I think for me, the most crucial element is the partnerships that enable us to actually respond to the needs on the ground. We've demonstrated that the technology we can build and the technology we have, and we've also demonstrated that we have the capability to actually run platforms that are sophisticated and innovative as Digital Earth Africa. What we need now is the problems on the ground. We need the ministers to come on board with the issues that they have at a country level so that we can have the platform uptaken at a country level. We see the example that's been given in Ghana in terms of how it's being used at a local level, because the value of this technology really sits with us being able to make sure that we are not saying we've got data, we've got a fantastic platform, but it's through the understanding of the challenges that are faced at the local level and how we can immediately respond at a local level. Capacity development initiatives are in place for us to actually support the building of that capacity at a national level. So for me, I think our next step is taking this to the country level. Local municipalities, that's the level we talk to in South Africa. It's not even to support national governments, but it's to support the local municipalities deal with the day-to-day issues that face the communities. Tracing of potholes, building of houses, access to water sources, climate change issues that impact food security in our local government. So for me, it's that partnership at a local level now towards addressing the needs that are identified at a local level. We have showcased the capability. Let's make it real. Thanks, Andre.
Thank you very much. And this one, yes, you are right in pointing out that, of course, some of the global agenda, like the Agenda 2030, are designed at global level, but their implementation should be done at the local level. Hence, the relevance and the importance of new way of collecting, gathering data that will help implement or monitor and track the Sustainable Development Goals from the local perspective. I would like to ask to Omar Seydou from the field. What do you see has some of the prerequisites for making Earth observation a success in African nations, in particular for related topics like statistics, data, which are, as we just said, critically important for monitoring, tracking the SDGs, and also upstream planning our development process. How do we see, from the experience of Ghana statistics, has some of the prerequisite to make Earth observation technology working in African nations?
Thank you very much, Andre. Yes, I think the first and most important thing is the appreciation that our national statistical systems in the country are not able to provide the kind of data that we need for monitoring the SDGs and for monitoring the Agenda 2063. If we have to go our traditional data systems. And so looking beyond our traditional data systems and looking at non-traditional data, then the use of Earth observation is one critical infrastructure that makes this possible, especially given the fact that it gives the continent the opportunity to immediately have access to this data infrastructure dating back several years. You can go back, in some cases, the last 30 years. And then you can construct, you observe, and use that to make predictions into the future. And that is one key thing. So the motivation is the fact that relying on our traditional data systems, we cannot adequately monitor progress in achieving the African Union Agenda 2063 and achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. That is the first thing. The second thing is minimal investment. And I say minimal investment because you only need to have a core group of people who are dedicated, and then they will receive the training free of charge from Digital Earth Africa. And then they have the minimal time resources allocated and connecting with the various institutions that need this platform for their solutions. For an example is, for instance, in the case of Ghana, we looked at all the major cities in Ghana, where they draw water for the citizens within those cities. We have used the infrastructure to look at the water extent for those cities, Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, Takoradi, you understand? And so that becomes very important for the Water Resources Commission. We have used the same resource to look at other areas in terms of mining, in terms of urbanization. And the minimal resources you need here is the human being who has the motivation, okay? And of course, you will need minimal resources because the person will need to have a computer because without a computer, you cannot use this. And so these are some of the basic things. But at the end of the day, the instructive thing is that you can monitor a lot of the SDGs on the continent. We cannot monitor a lot of the climate-related SDGs because we do not have the infrastructure. And this provides us that. Last year, we had a visit from Ghana, from the Gambian Minister for Finance and his team. And one of the questions they asked me was that they were unable to monitor the climate-related SDGs. Digital Earth Africa provides an opportunity to do that. So this is what I would want to encourage our continent to take advantage of. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Omar. I have the opportunity of listening to my director this morning, Mr. Oliver, and we learned that people, planet, prosperity, peace are some of the priorities shared by all African nations. And providing access to information is, from my point of view, the first step toward a more inclusive and, I might say, just society. Director, how do you see ourselves making advocacy and raising more awareness among all African countries to promote or to invest more in data acquisitions, more importantly in spatial, geospatial, and Earth observation related data acquisition for informed decision in Africa? How do you see the way we can advocate and raise awareness among our member states? Are you still with us, Oliver? You are muted if you are talking to the audience. No, he's not with us at this point in time, but let's pick some of the questions we have received in the chat box so that we can clarify some of the information provided so far. Someone has asked what is the process for country to joining the Digital Africa initiative? And I believe our last speaker, or I can see also the program management leadership, Ms. Tembi can step in and try to respond to this question. What is the process for country to joining the Digital Africa program?
Right. Thank you very much for the question. And I think this is going to be key to our rollout and our capacity development over the next few years. I think most importantly, after this call, if there's a particular country that would like to start to participate, I do encourage you to actually send myself an email and Dr. Mcbear as well, who's our capacity development lead. What we would want to do is engage with you, connect you with the implementing partner in the region that you are in. And from there, we actually start building capacity by training people on the ground. We will either have a member of our team, a member of the implementing partnership team who will actually travel to the country, assess the needs of the country and particular users in the country. And we actually can then establish a training for those people. And one of the things I think as well that's important to remember is when we think about Earth observations, I think it always is, it seems like there are only particular users, very highly skilled users that would be able to use this information to generate data. And that's actually not the case. I'm a layperson. As you can see, all my colleagues are doctors and have amazing wealth of knowledge. However, the way that the Digital Earth Africa platform has been created is that actually lay people can actually start interacting with the platform to use it in their work. So for example, if you are a journalist, this is something that you can actually learn. We actually have training that is accessible for that level of person. Of course, for those who are researchers and have extra knowledge, the sandbox is in particular very useful for starting to analyze data. And I think that's the other opportunity that's there. So if you want to engage with us, no matter what level you are, please let us know. Please contact myself and Dr. Mcbear. We will then connect you with the implementing partner, and we'll actually travel to your countries to start training the relevant people. So we look forward I'm looking forward to lots of emails after this.
Thank you very much. Before we conclude on this session, because we have to conclude in a couple of minutes, there is one question in the chat which is critically important as well, asking that how concrete initiative exists in Digital Earth Africa to address youth unemployment in the continent, because youth unemployment is a great impediment to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goal. And what are some of the action or activity within Digital Earth Africa that are targeting our youth in Africa, not only in employment, but also their capacity building, their empowerment, because I still believe that the youth are the one who can easily ingest such a technology like the one offering by Digital Earth Africa. We want to step in on that. Maybe Adam or Isa, can you give insight on how
I'm actually going to ask Dr. Mcbear to answer that one. There's actually there's a youth program that we've actually already started. So it's a great question. And Dr. Mcbear actually has more information about exactly how that's working already.
Yes, Kenneth, please.
Thank you, Andre, my colleague. Bonjour. So we continue to work with the youth. We have these commitment through the Gender, Equality, Diversity, and Social Inclusion program within the DA Africa strategy. So we've been having sessions with the youth across the continent, even some of the use cases we've developed with some of our students, former students. We recognize these are the future leaders of tomorrow. Even the video you saw for Zanzibar was one of my students who now is a lecturer. So we're really committed. And also we continue to even have awareness sessions, especially now we are working virtually. We're having sessions with the Africa Women in GIS. Also, we are part of their cohort of mentorship program where they're mentoring young girls in the continent. So we're even having some sessions with them next week, both in English and French to reach everyone in the continent, leaving no one and no place behind. And also with the support of the member states in this call that we connect with you and we take this program to the village so that we can empower the youth who are the leaders of tomorrow. And thank you, Andre.
Thank you so much. I believe that we have in the chat box some resources that have been shared with us and some contact details there where we can follow up on some of the issues that we want the speakers and the panelists to address later on. Feel free to reach out to any one of them for specific question or area of interest you may want them to address even after this side event. And with that, I thank all of you for being there with us. And I'm handing over to Dr. Lisa to take over for the conclusion of this side event. Lisa, over to you.
Thank you very much, Andre, and thanks for facilitating an excellent discussion section, much appreciated. So first of all, I just want to thank everybody who has taken the time to attend the session today. We really appreciate your interest in the Digital Earth Africa program. We are all hugely excited about the potential of this program for Africa, and so really all of your engagement going forward will really help take this to the next level. And as Jiko and Ken have beautifully articulated, just please reach out to us anytime. We've put a whole heap of contact information and resources in the chat. We're here and really keen to engage. So in terms of closing remarks, I really just hope today's session has provided you all with further insights into Digital Earth Africa's role and how we're positioned as a unique information resource for sustainable development across Africa. Really, we have seen a few snapshots of how Digital Earth Africa is now being applied, from the great work that's being done in Ghana, integrating Earth observation with the national statistics, through to the community-led climate action in Tanzania and the conservation efforts in Kenya. But really, these examples are just scratching the surface in terms of the potential of this digital infrastructure for public good to support better decision making by everybody, from policymakers through to communities, through to researchers, through to industry. And that really loops back to the numbers that Andis were shared with you all at the very beginning on actually quite what significant economic value this can bring. So really looking forward to working with you all and supporting the new leadership team as they transition in from July 1 to actually really realise that potential. I would like to conclude by thanking all of our speakers for taking the time to participate in the event, and also, as we've already clearly illustrated, all of our speakers have just been fantastic supporters and champions for the program so far. And I also want to acknowledge all of our program partners for the amazing contribution they have made to establishing this program. And that's from our funding partners, the Helmsley Charitable Trust, the Australian Government, through to AWS, our implementing partners, as well as all of the members of the TAC and Governing Board. And I think Jiko did nicely show quite how extensive our reach of partnerships is across the continent, and really those enabling partnerships, that distributed model is really the key to the success of this program. And as Andiswa beautifully articulated, those partnerships are the key to reach, to connection with users, from policymakers all the way down, all through to communities. And finally, a huge thanks to Oliver and to ECA for your continued support. We really appreciate the opportunity to present today, and really looking forward to continue working with you going forward. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and all the best success for the rest of this event.
Thank you. Thank you to the interpreters as well. And
thank you, Lisa.
Thank you for everyone. A very good job. Thank you, and bye-bye.